I'm Betty Casey, editor of TulsaKids magazine, and I'm here talking with Roy Van Tassell. You are a clinical supervisor for child abuse and trauma services at Family and Children's Services here in Tulsa, is that right?
That's right.
Okay. I wanted to talk to you a little bit because of what happened with the Penn State child abuse scandal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrific. And talk to you a little bit about what we can do as a community and as individuals to help abused children. If you suspect that a child is being abused, what should a person do?
Well, under state statute in Oklahoma, we're required, anyone is required, if they suspect that a child has been abused or neglected or maltreated, to report that to Department of Human Services. And statutorily, that's the entity to which the report needs to be made. A lot of people would think you would make that report to law enforcement.
Right.
And more often than not, greater than 90% of the time, when a child is maltreated, they're maltreated by someone they know and trust.
Right.
And more often than not, that person is under the same roof or knows them well. A
Right.
coach, a teacher, someone.
Even a parent.
Even a parent. More often than not, it would be a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, that's an intrafamilial kind of issue, and that's why it's set up that way, so that child welfare becomes the reporting entity. And they archive that information.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's really important for people to remember is they never know whether someone else may have reported something.
Right.
And now, and DHS is able to, Department of Human Services is able to create a record of that.
Okay.
So often there is a number of reports or a critical mass that becomes a tipping point. But without that central entity to capture that information, sometimes that content's lost.
Okay. And what if someone were in a situation like the young assistant coach who actually saw a child being abused? What should a person do in that kind of situation?
You know, the other thing we have to think about is the other side of that coin. The other side of that coin is if a person doesn't report and they have suspicions and nothing is done, the likelihood of other children later becoming abused by that same person, if it was occurring, go up greatly. So people have to think about this in terms of prevention, not that they're trying to get someone in trouble, which is often the reason people pull back from doing that. So when they make that report, they're not investigating. It's not their requirement to know factually if this occurred. If they in good faith have a concern, they should report it. Many times child welfare will investigate and find out there's nothing substantial here. This is an innocent mistake, or maybe it's discipline gone over the line and we want to help educate. And even in cases when abuse has occurred, the goal was to keep families intact and to help families learn ways to recover from inappropriate choices and behaviors. So that's really the central mission. So if someone believes something's occurred, you know, it's important to not look the other way, to not say, oh, someone else will take care of that, or gee, it might be this, but it might not be. If there's a suspicion, then it should really be reported. Children's safety hangs in the balance of that.